Hey guys, let's start this week's video with a joke. What do you call a bear with no ears? A bee. Get it? Because if you have the word bear and you cross out ear, then you just have a bee left. Okay, never mind. So, this is week 5. I know this says week 4, and this is the same sign I showed you last week. That's because I came across a couple roadblocks. A couple things stopped me from completing everything I said I was going to do. So we're going to go down the checklist, see what I was supposed to do, what I did, and what our next steps were. Okay, so this is our last week in April. So this is our last week on initiative. I did read you this story about Whistling Swan, so that's good. That gets to come off the list. Completed that. And we get to add a new thing there, okay? We're gonna talk about roadblocks, things that get in our way and stop us from taking initiative. That's what happened to me, okay? So we're gonna talk about roadblocks, things that can get in our way and stop us from doing what we should do, stop us from taking initiative, and how to overcome those things. Okay, in regulation, we did talk about triggers and we did talk about stop, plot, go, so. So that's good. We can take those off the list too. Those are also completed activities, all right? And we're gonna replace those with journaling and reflecting, okay? Because journaling and reflecting is not only a good way to help regulate ourselves, but it also can be a way to stop some of those roadblocks, okay? Now, in reading, still do your sight words. This is something that I want you to continue to do until you've mastered 1,000 sight words. Until that point, keep working on that, okay? Fluency, that's something that we continue forever to work on our fluency. I feel like I'm a pretty fluent reader, but I still practice, okay? And remember, I want you to read those passages out loud. If you don't remember how to do the fluency, look back at that video. Now, I said that we were going to talk about comprehension, we were going to talk about text connections. I didn't do that, okay? So I need to do that this week. This is a part of my reflecting on what I said I was going to do and realizing I didn't do that. So I still need to. I can't pretend like I did and move on, right? I need to do my job and I need to tell you about text connections this week. Math. Continue those count bys until you know your multiplication facts like that. Until you can flip through your multiplication flashcards and you know those answers. You can play that game with the playing cards, play war, and you know the answer. Keep practicing those. We did start to talk about fractions. I did part 1 of fractions, even though I labeled it part 2. I don't know why my thumb keeps slipping. But I'm going to continue talking about fractions, and you know what? I didn't talk about graphing. That's another thing that I said we were going to do, and I didn't. So I need to do that. And that is related to science. Now, I started the science, and I let you know that we were going to do our writing about science. I didn't get to the writing part of it, okay? I only started the conversation about science, and now we need to continue that. We need to continue that with the graphing part and with the writing part of it, okay? We only started looking at what the scientific method was, but now we need to do our research, we need to take our data, we need to graph that data, we need to come up with our conclusion, and we need to share that in writing, okay? So now that we've gone over that and we've made some changes, this is what week 5 looks like, okay? It's our last week on initiative. We're gonna talk about roadblocks, things that can get in our way of taking initiative and what we can do to overcome those. In regulation, we're gonna talk about journaling and reflecting. In reading, continue practicing your sight words and your fluency. And we're gonna talk about text connections for reading comprehension. In math, practice your count bys, continue with that. And we're going to continue on with fractions and graphing, and then we are going to do some writing with science this week, okay? So I'm going to be held accountable for what I said I'm going to do. You be held accountable for what you need to do, and together we're going to get this thing done.